And as you start to move into an optimal position for today's practice, why not be super intentional about where you're going to place your hands? They could be somewhere on the body, palms facing into the body, or you might find a nice open, releasing place for the hands to be, palms facing up. If you're lying down, you might have them slightly off to the side. If you've experienced any yoga practices, you might know this position as Shavasana or resting pose. So just confirming how you want to experience this meditation, breathing technique today. Do you want to sit down? Do you want to lie down? And then commit to it and take up space and residence in that shape. Once you feel good physically in that position, start to close down the eyes if they're not already closed, allowing the upper eyelashes to dance and meet the lower eyelashes, softening the eyelids completely like two heavy curtains just draping over your eyeballs, and then intentionally relaxing the eyeballs and the micro muscles that support them behind the eyes. Start to simply tune in to the breath that is present. We're going to just start by nasal breathing, so letting the lips be gently sealed. And see if you can, over the next few moments, start to smooth and round out your breath. Imagine you were taking your breath, maybe it was a triangle or a square, and through intentionality you were able to round it and take all that edginess out of the breath. For the next few moments of space in time, just start to slow and expand the breath. Dropping in, landing in your physical body, landing in your mind space, your heart space. Letting everything else that has been with you up until this point in the day just disintegrate and dissolve into the background. Make this moment right now your absolute priority. Everything is here in this breath. You don't need anything else. Allow the rib cage to welcome each breath that comes in with that expansion and that rise. And allow the rib cage to softly release every exhale. Feel that slight contraction back toward the spine. Relax the jaw, relax the shoulders. Smooth out the forehead, the eyebrows. And for our breathing technique today, it's going to be with the intention of finding a little bit of invigoration, even though the body is completely relaxed and receptive. Allowing the shoulders and the upper spine to really soften so that you can rest into shape. And it's going to be an inhale through the nose and an exhale through the mouth. We'll start with a nice slow pace, and we'll have the opportunity to take that to 2 further places. If for any reason you'd like to stay with the first rhythm, please remain if that's working for you today. If you want to go a little further, join me there. And for the breath retention, if you're pregnant, please don't hold the breath. Just stay with the first rhythm of breath work today. And if you feel uncomfortable retaining the breath, just stay with a soft and slow in and out. So let's find our rhythm together. Why not take the deepest breath you've taken all day in through the nose, expand the entire body brightly with breath. And then through the mouth, slowly witness the exhale leave you. Breathing in through the nose now and out through the mouth. You can make it audible, in through the nose, out through the mouth. In through the nose, it's an active inhale through the nostrils, and it's a passive exhale, just like you're releasing and throwing the breath away. Inhaling and exhaling. Just a few more rounds like this. In and out. In and out. In and out. Staying with that or joining me to take that up a notch with my rhythm. You can stay with me. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. Relax the jaw, in, out. Smooth the forehead, in, out. Soften the shoulders, in, out. Just a few more rounds, in, out. In, out. Final round of this style, in, out. Staying with it or taking it up to the final rhythm, which is in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out for 10, for 9, for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Fully in, inspire the whole body with breath. Slightly hold the breath at the top, feeling full and expansive. And then as slowly as you can through an open mouth, release the exhale, very controlled. When you get to the bottom of the breath, this is where we're going to suspend. This is where we're going to pause and hold. Relax the entire body, bones, muscles, skin, and suspend. Let your body feel like water, smooth and open. And only you know when it's time to invite the next breath in. I'll let you determine that for yourself, but why not just explore and experience what it is to be in suspension, in the space between. When you do return to your breath, it's an easy, natural breath in and out through the nose. Notice how it is to be here in this moment on the back of that short, sweet breathing technique. What do you feel? What do you sense? Just notice and observe. And then we're going to go with our awareness on a journey within, into your inner landscape. So if I were to ask you the question, when you look inside, imagine you had this landscape of you internally. And on an emotional field, what emotions are present in your being? Maybe you notice a word, maybe you notice more of a color or a texture. Just sense inwardly what's here. What are you wearing? What are you carrying inside? All is welcome. Try not to alter or fix. Just let it be. And if I asked you the question, what you would like to see more of in this inner space, what would you like to plant in the place of some of those emotions that you might not want to hold within? And if you can, bring yourself to visualize yourself now taking a pack of seeds of this emotion or state of being. What color would the pack be? What would the image be to represent this emotion? And you open up the pack, you take a seed out, and you intentionally kneel down to the earth. With a spade or a shovel, you just start to remove the top layer of earth so you can reach that lovely nutrient-dense soil beneath. You use one of your fingers to poke a hole into the earth, and very mindfully you place this seed. You cover up the hole with some fresh earth, and beside you find a bright watering can. And you slowly pour some water on top of that seed in the earth, and just imagine like you were watching a time lapse and you could see that seed starting to poke up through the ground. And how would it manifest as a plant? What would it look like? What would the stem be? What would the flowers be like? What would they smell like? And just viewing this plant or tree that represents the emotion you want to bloom within. And just taking a few deep breaths to take it all in. And imagining yourself sat now by this tree, and perhaps you let yourself lean against it, feeling very supported and comfortable by this tree. All with the knowing that you can quite literally alter your inner world when we get aware, when we get intentional about what is present. And imagine you here, either sitting against or lying down next to this tree, the fragrance of the flowers in the nostrils. And we're just going to do a very short and sweet body scan here, allowing that essence, that emotion to trickle in through the top of your head. Start yourself now to move down through the body, letting it in. Taking yourself through the different body parts from your head, and you'll slowly work down to your toes in your time. Just tuning in to where your mind has drifted to. Are you still with the body, or you're elsewhere? All is well. And from here, I invite you now to tune into the center of your chest, your heart space. From yogic traditions, we call this anahata, our heart center. And I invite you to visualize a blooming flower just opening and unfurling here in the heart space. And then imagine, all those fractals that live in that very central part of the open flower, that you are placing some of these affirmations there in your heart space to be pollinated. My heart is open and I am willing to grow. I spend time today to nurture my inner self. I am radiant, vibrant, and full of vitality. Every day I am enriched by my learnings. I am grateful to live this very life. I don't take my life for granted and those in my world. I allow myself to bloom here and now. I allow myself to open and take up space, to honor and share my gifts. And if there's any other affirmations you would like to self-guide, please bring them in for yourself now. Perhaps there's something you're dealing with that you'd like to find a bit of clarity or wisdom on. Finding that now. And then I invite you to gently bring your awareness back to the physical body, starting to dissolve the imagery that we've been creating, but knowing it's there imprinted within your inner space for the rest of the day or the evening. Starting to deepen the breath once again. Being the gardener of your own inner landscape for the hours and days ahead, knowing that you can choose what you weed and seed. It's all a matter of awareness. And when you're ready, you can start to wiggle the fingers, wiggle the toes. It might feel really nice to take a full body stretch, reaching the hands up and overhead, stretching fingers to toes, toes to fingers. And when you're ready, you can start to blink the eyes open, carrying forth some of which we've been through into your outer experience.